You know, one of the things that I really like to do is I really like to complicate every painting. Well, not really. Susan Kuznitsky is on, and she's going to talk about the opposite of complicating paintings. Susan, what are you going to do today?
Well, it seems like I've been on this journey that I didn't know was leading to this, but it has. I'm going to just show you how I approach a complicated subject matter, how I simplify it in the beginning into large shapes, and then work the details into that.
Okay, good. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a good lesson today. What are you going to be painting in today?
I'm painting a picture of a place here in Portland, Oregon called Cinema 21.
Okay.
My son works there.
What medium are you going to be using?
Oh, I'm in pastels. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Pastels.
All right. Well, I knew that, but I had to make you say it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But you know, the idea of simplifying can be applied to any medium. Well, let's get this show officially started.
It's Art School Live with Eric Rhoads. Now, here's your host, Eric Rhoads.
One of the great pastel painters of our time, Susan Kuznitsky, is on, and she's going to teach you a little bit about simplifying your paintings. Let's look at her work right now. She is a fabulous painter. Do we have any of that to show? There we go. So you get a feel. Oh, the eye just making me hungry. Oh, how lovely. I like the sparkles. Really, really nice. Anyway, you're going to learn from Susan about simplifying your paintings today. And we're here every weekday at 12 noon. Our whole goal is to help you learn how to paint. We believe anybody can learn to paint, even you. Even though you're saying, I can't do it, I can't draw a stick figure. Watch your self-talk. You can do this. We're going to show you how. And we have a lot of ways to do that. So you just want to watch today. I think it'd be very valuable. Susan, are you ready for us?
I'm here.
Okay, you're waiting. Okay, well, take it away.
So I'm going to do that slide presentation first.
Okay.
And I want to explain, this is the subject I'm doing today. It's Cinema 21, obviously. It's the place where my son has been working. It's an independent, like, art forum, like independent movies, old movies. And actually next month in September, they are having their 100th anniversary. And this painting's going to be at the celebration. So I started out with an image, and you see on the right side how I have gridded it. I don't do the normal inch, you know, straight across and straight down. I do more of a geometric pattern. It starts out with a simple cross through the middle of the subject, and then I make a big X through the subject. And the third thing I do is make a diamond shape. So I think you can kind of see all those shapes. And then I draw vertical and horizontal lines through the intersections. So that's
why do you go to all that trouble?
It's not a trouble. It's actually a lot faster, and you only have to measure one time because you just have to measure the center lines. The rest of it is just geometry, simple shapes.
So are you saying you use this as a means to draw so that you get your drawing correct, or?
Yeah, because I'm doing complicated subjects, you know, and I have to make sure it's drawn properly in the beginning or else forget it. I actually learned this gridding process from Albert Handel, who I think learned it from Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, well, it is called a Da Vinci grid, and you can actually take that grid and amplify it, right? So if you wanted tinier squares going corner to corner, so if you had a complicated area, you could make it even tinier and tinier. And that way, if you're trying to copy something, you grid that out on your paper, and then you can copy it over, and it makes it a lot easier.
Well, Eric, you're one of the few people that know what I'm talking about. That's cool. That's great. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please.
Well, Da Vinci was a friend of mine. Just saying.
All right, so over on the left, you can see the gridding, and I drew it in with, so the trick, one of the tricks is that when I do the grid lines, I use a light colored pastel pencil, and then when I start drawing, I use a different color pastel pencil so I don't get confused. So over on the right side, I started laying in big, flat, simple shapes with my pastels. Sometimes I do watercolor, but this time I did a alcohol wash. If you go to the next slide, you'll see. So there on the left is the alcohol wash. You can already start to see, what it's going to be. And then on the right, I started adding I started this ahead of time, obviously, because it's so complicated. I would get nothing done if I started from scratch. So next slide. And this is where I'm starting at today. I actually did a little more. I had to keep stopping myself because I was having so much fun. I'm like, Susan, you're not going to have anything to demo. Stop. So, okay. And then the next bunch of slides we'll go through. This is the other painting of the inside of that 𝗦𝗶𝗺𝗽𝗶𝗺𝗃 theater. So
Which one of those is your son?
That's my son serving up popcorn. He does a little bit of everything at this theater.
All right.
And I get free movies. Yay. Okay, so, all right, so here's an image I took in Provence. All right, so go to the next one. Okay, on the left side, I started a watercolor wash. And this right side is the second watercolor wash to get darker colors. All right, next. And this is starting to build up with the hard and the soft pastels and pencils, pastel pencils. And the next slide is the finished piece. All right, so go to the next. This is another picture from Provence. So no, go back. Yeah, the one on the left was the original photo, and I cropped it. With the one on the right, I took the guy out and I cropped it down. And then you can see on the left, the gridding and the drawing. And then this was also a watercolor underpainting. Next, and then I get darker and stronger color and keeping hold of the pattern of light, which was my main focus on this painting. All right, next. And, oh, if you go back, I'm sorry, I guess I put both. The painting on the right is the finished painting. Sorry. Okay, next. This is from Paris. They have lovely bakeries that are like art galleries for pastries. And there it is, laid in with blocked in colors with the pastel. So
you didn't do a watercolor wash on that one?
No, I do a little bit of both. And people ask me what makes me, I don't even know. If I'm too lazy to take out my watercolors, or I don't even know what drives me to do one or the other exactly.
All right.
All right. That's the finished piece. And then this was a few years ago. A student of mine showed me this photo that she had taken of her 10 grandchildren.
Wow. Lined
up, ready for a St. Patrick's Day dinner at her home, and asked me if I could paint this. And I'm like, sure. And then this was during the pandemic. So I was Zooming with some other artists, friends of mine, and I showed them, I'm like, what do I charge her for 10 kids? And they all said, don't do it. But obviously you can get the idea that I'm drawn to detail. So down below, okay, this one I did a watercolor underpainting. The one on the upper left is all pastel pencil. And I actually sprayed it a little bit because I didn't want to lose all that drawing. And so I started this watercolor wash on the right side and building up the color underneath. And the next one that's the finished piece.
Oh, wow, that's fabulous.
Thanks.
One of my all-time favorite memories is I actually participated in the St. Patrick's Day parade in your town of Portland.
Oh.
Years ago. Way back.
I'm originally from Chicago, and they do a big deal on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, they do. Well, they
do
in
the Chicago
too.
River like an emerald, almost fluorescent looking green. All right, next. And then here's a more current one. This is Italy. I took a picture in a coffee cafe place. You can see the beginning of the drawing, and this was also a watercolor underpainting. So when I do the watercolor underpainting, it takes 2, sometimes 3 washes to get the darks rich enough. And I think the next slide, is that it? No, there's the finished piece.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you. And then this one was also Italy in a little boutique. I actually, when I was painting this one, I had the title. Sometimes the titles just come to me like immediately. This one is called Purses with Personality. And you can see I cropped it down a bit too on the one on the right. And this was also a watercolor underpainting. You can see the buildup there. First wash, second wash, third wash. Oh, okay. And this one is another Paris one. Here again, the one on the right is the original photo, and I cropped it to make it longer and thinner. And there's the progression of this one. And there's the finished piece. So, oh, and this one is this was a alcohol wash. So you can see I laid in the big shapes on the left there, did the alcohol wash over it, and then I started to build it up. This one was total insanity. I don't know why. Yeah, I just do that. I can tell you the little backstory. Let's see, go to the next slide. That's the finished piece. Okay, then next, this is another watercolor. You get the idea.
So there's a question about watercolor. The question from Jennifer is, who's also from Chicago, can you still get the full effects of the paper for watercolor after it's been sprayed?
I don't see, when I said I sprayed that one drawing of the 10 children, I just did a light spray because I didn't want, when I did the watercolor on top of the pastel pencil, it would just like absorb all the drawing, you know, all the pencil. And because it was faces and I couldn't like, you know, it had to be exact, I didn't want to lose the drawing because it took me a while to draw it. That's the only time. I don't use spray.
Oh, it's not going to fill in the
no, not at all.
lumpiness of the paper.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get back. This is very inspiring.
All right. So let me flip my camera to the back camera.
Okay.
That's good. All right. So while I'm starting this, I'll just tell you what happened to me. I always was attracted to detail, but I had all this like self-talk in my head, this chatter that was, oh, Susan, you're too detailed, you're too tight, you're too da-da-da-da-da, you know, all the stuff we get in our heads for whatever reason. And I was really beating myself up. And then one day I turned 60, which, as I told Eric earlier, is almost exactly 10 years ago because I'll be 70 on Monday. I kind of woke up and I'm like, screw it. I said a worse word, but I won't say it on video. I like detail. I'm going to keep doing detail. No one's going to tell me not to do detail because it makes me happy. It brings me joy. So I started doing this with no inside chatter going on. And I have been having a blast. So it seems like for some reason it's like caught on to the rest of the art world because I keep getting asked to do demos now on complicated subjects. So why? I don't know. It's just fun. It started being like, first it was dappled light, the complexity of dappled light, and then it morphed into all these different subjects. So that's me. And I'm happy with what I paint. I'm really happy. I love doing it.
Well, see, you got to watch your self-talk. Happy birthday, by the way. So tell us about the material you were just using. It looked like a pastel pencil.
Yes, it was a pastel pencil, you know, and I use various things. Sometimes even I could use a corner. If I have a sharp enough corner on a softer pastel, I could do that too. But obviously the main focal point is going to be this, and it's going to be part of their, you know, centennial celebration. So that is important. You can kind of maybe see some of my grid lines that are still, oh, I want to say something else. After I do the underpainting, I oftentimes will go back and re-grid everything very lightly. You can kind of see the lines here, which they'll all get absorbed into the painting. On something like this, as Eric was saying, I did a smaller amount of gridding because obviously the lettering is front and center and it has to be correct. And usually I start here, I'm left-handed. So actually when I was in art school, which was at the American Academy of Art, they said, no, you can't take calligraphy because you're left-handed.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I was told way back. This is like in the 70s, the mid 70s.
Was Richard Schmid there when you were there?
No, he's older than me. He was there before me.
So Carl is asking, is it best not to use your good watercolor brushes when you're painting on sanded pastel paper?
Oh my God, yes. I just use a very inexpensive 1-inch wash brush. It's like a kid's brush. I mean, don't use anything expensive. It's not necessary. So obviously
I have a new discovery, Susan.
what?
Well, when I was in China, one of the Chinese artists gave me some Chinese brushes, and I started painting with them when I do watercolor. And I'm addicted. They're so good. They're different.
Well, maybe yeah, well, I haven't done a pure watercolor painting in a long time. Also during the pandemic, I was asked to monitor. Okay, at the beginning of the pandemic, we had a scheduled workshop at the Oregon Society of Artists with Andy Evanson, who's a really wonderful watercolor painter from Minneapolis. And they said, if you could just be the tech person, because they thought I was so brilliant. Haha. But so I got a free watercolor workshop, and I thought, oh, great, I'll get back into my watercolors, not just as an underpainting. It was a 3-day Zoom workshop. And I have to tell you that it was very humbling because I actually really sucked at it.
Oh,
it's really
you're
different.
using some pretty nasty words today, Susan. We're going to have a talk.
Well,
I'm
I
going to
just
have
realized
to sit you down like I have to do with my children.
I realized that to get back into watercolors, it would take much more time and effort than just a 3-day workshop. So
Jennifer is asking, with a pastel or watercolor combo, is it best to work on pastel paper or watercolor paper?
I always work on sanded paper.
Pastel
because sanded pastel paper, it allows me to build up all the wonderful layers that I love to do. I know people do use watercolor paper. I just don't. I mean, there's no reason not to. It's a personal preference. So again, now in order to get this feeling of the lights, the fluorescent lighting, I had to make sure I get dark enough behind, and I had really a lot of fun over here blending these colors. Back in November of this last year, I, out of the blue, inherited an entire set of pan pastels from a local artist that wasn't going to use them anymore. And I found this comes with all these tools, and these are really great for blending. I don't think I would have ever tried it had it not fallen literally into my lap. But it's a really great tool for softening and blending, softening edges. So there's a lot of stuff to do still on this painting. So what I'm going to put out there is in the comments, if you have any areas like the lower left or the upper right that you're curious about, I could kind of move around and hit the areas that you're interested in seeing me work if you want to.
Somebody's asking if you have tried non-sanded pastel matte or velvet papers.
That's a good question too, because when I inherited this set of pan pastels, it came with a whole bunch of pastel matte, and it's fun. I haven't tried it with this technique, but I've tried it with the pan pastels, and it's really interesting what that paper. But I don't know. There's a lot of papers. There's so many choices for us now that we didn't have way back when I was learning all this. And I do encourage people to try different things, but I have to say, when I have 2 papers that are my go-to papers, and I really, kind of stick with them because they do what I want them to do. And then when I teach workshops, I really, really encourage people to use what I'm using, so they're there to learn what I'm doing. And if they want to do what I'm doing, it should be on the same kind of paper. Because I have students that show up with stuff and they say, oh, I had this laying around. And I'm like, well, I have never used it, so I don't know what to tell you. So,
question here from Marilyn: what size format do you prefer, and what is the largest you have ever done in pastel?
Well, ever. I haven't
ever.
done ever. I did a 30 by 40 once, but long ago. The one that currently in that slide presentation, the one painting that you saw of the woman with the crystals and that hanging, that was 19 by 26, which is a good size. The only problem with large pastels is you have to use glass, and you could use plexi, but it's really expensive. So if you're going to ship anything anywhere, you got to take that into consideration.
Carl is asking, on a nocturne scene, does it help to darken the studio and spotlight the art piece?
You know, I've never tried that, but when we get off of this thing, I'm going to try that.
Okay. All right.
That's a good idea.
Well, it makes you feel like you're out at night.
Yeah,
Carl
nocturnes
always
are
has
fun.
the best questions.
All right, so this is going to take some time, but
That's
as
fine.
I
We
said,
have nothing but time until we run out of it. I
all
want to
right,
tell you guys that make sure you tell us where you're watching from in the comments, especially all you folks overseas. It'd be fun to see.
yeah, where is everybody from? That's all. I'm always curious about that.
Well, you've pretty much got the entire United States of America represented here. Here's Germany. Hello. Ontario, Canada. Hello. Let's see what else we've got. We've had some people in China lately, even before I went to China, but now more because I went to China.
Well, that's a place I've never been. Always curious about.
It's amazing. I just did a podcast about the China trip, what I learned. It's in the Plein Air podcast.
Yeah, this is the part that just gets me going. I mean, it's just I know people might shy away from stuff like this, but crazy me. Well, I'm a Virgo, and so is Eric. We just discovered
Hey,
that.
Don't reveal anything.
I
No.
won't say the age, but the Virgo, and I think Eric said his birthday was tomorrow. Everybody.
No.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Hello, Netherlands. Hello, Estonia. I've been to Estonia. It's lovely.
Eric, is there any places you haven't been yet that you really want to go?
Oh, probably.
Can you think of any?
Not off the top of my head. My brain doesn't work that way. I have to think about it. Well, I just checked the bucket list doing the China thing. I did Japan last year. I took a group. I'm taking a group to Switzerland to paint this fall. And next year I have, I'm going to announce 2 major trips. Just trying to get all the dots and dashes done on the contracts. And so I'm going to do the biggest trip I've ever done. It's going to be a big trip, but it's going to be something very unique and very special. And I'll be able to accommodate more people than normal. So it's going to be like really remarkable. I can't tell you anything more than that.
Oh God, you're such a tease.
I am a tease. Thank you.
Yes. I have a big year coming up too. I'll be teaching in New Zealand and I'll be teaching in Ireland.
Ah.
And so people have been asking me, what am I going to do to celebrate my 70th birthday? I said, my 70th birthday is going to last the whole year.
Yeah. Well, you're too young to be 70.
Well, I like the sound of that, but oh yeah, it's just hard
You know,
to wrap
it's all just mental anyway. You know,
I
I know 50-year-olds who act like they're near death, and they, you know, they're like, I had a family member who's like, he turned 50. He's like, oh, I'm kind of getting ready to wind down. I know life won't last very much longer. And sure enough, because he had that attitude, it didn't.
Wow.
And I know people that like they're 90 and they're planning their next 30 years. So it's all attitude.
I agree. That's why I'm doing everything I can do next year. All right. So another thing I want to, in the actual photo, I kind of made this car bigger than it was in the photo. It just had like, you know, this little bump here, but it didn't look right. So I do change things. I have other photos of this scene, so I often will pull the photos out that I took and I will kind of mesh them together, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Susan, I'm going to take a quick break and say hi to everybody, and then we'll be right back. Okay.
All right. Yep.
Hi, everybody. Susan Kuznitsky is our guest today, and this is really good. This is going to be fun to watch. We'll be right back with her in a second. For those of you who are digging this pastel thing that she's doing, pastel is such a wonderful medium. And we have an event coming up called Pastel Live, and it has some of the world's leading pastel people, and it's pretty amazing. So you want to make sure that it's flashing on and off there. Sorry about that. You want to make sure that you come to this because we have some really incredible people, including Susan. We're going to be teaching on Pastel Live, which is 4 days of pastel techniques, a lot of different subjects, topics, different ways of approaching it. People teaching from all over the world and people attending from all over the world. Last week when we did Gouache Live, we had people attending from 30 different countries with thousands. So you should join us. It's going to be great. Just go to pastellive.com. We also have Carrie Stober is now doing with 𝗬𝗂𝗍 doing the Pastel podcast, 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗍𝗲. And you want to make sure you check that out and just go to the pastelpodcast.com. And we're doubling down on pastel these days because Carrie on our team has become a pastel artist and she's like obsessed. So now all of a sudden we have a podcast, we have a newsletter, we have all kinds of things. So if you like pastel, this is a good place to be. If you're not a subscriber to this program, please do. Just go to YouTube, look up Art School Live, and hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. And of course, give me a follow, Eric Rhoads, at wherever it is you are. I'm on all the platforms. Maybe not. I'm not on TikTok right now. I was, so I probably have an account there, but I got tired of doing it. Okay, let's go back to Susan.
All right. I'm back. I'm just filling in my letters here a bit. I want to also point out, so this light here is very bright because, against the dark twilight lighting, but I didn't use white first. I could see kind of a blue, like a pale blue. If I would have just used plain white first, it would have looked like just really chalky.
Yeah.
So
well, they back in the old days, you wouldn't remember this because you're not old enough, but they put what's called bluing in white. So you'd put some blue in your whites and it made your whites look whiter, even though it made them blue.
Yeah, well, I use a lot of the lightest colors, like in thin layers. I don't have a heavy hand on this. I use a very light stroke. I kind of call it a swipe. I just made that up because people kept asking me. It's just kind of, just like it says, I just kind of swipe. Yeah, this theater is, as you can tell, it's like an iconic building here in Portland. And now I'm really spoiled because I get free movies. My son has become like my movie critic. He'll go, "Oh, Mom, you're going to want to see this," or "Mom, don't bother with that. You won't like it." I have my own private. So there, I'm going to start, when I start to add, like down here, especially, there's like these lights around this poster here.
Reflected highlights.
All these. And that's going to make it start to sparkle. Now, when I get done with this demo, I get to sit here and finish this. I can't wait. Got the frame ordered already. So then people will ask, like there's all these little details like on this poster on the side. And I sort of, how I've been describing it, it's like the cliff notes. I don't put the whole thing in there. I'll start to just almost like a pattern. It's not going to be exactly, there's a figure in there for some movie, but just enough to make it read, a poster of a guy. I don't need to have details over there. The details are all going to be right up in here.
Are you going to actually put the words in there?
Yes, I am.
I think you should change what it says and say celebrating 100 years.
That's not a bad idea.
Oh, it's a great idea.
That's
I
a
only
really
have
good
great
idea.
ideas.
That's a really good idea. I thought you were going to say I should put in come to Pastel Live.
Oh, yeah, I think you should do that. Celebrating 100 years, come to pastellive.com.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be doing 2 demos at Pastel Live this time because the folks at Blick, I'm a Blick featured artist,
Yeah.
and they hired me to do a demo on one day, and then Streamline hired me to do a demo on another day.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. For those of you that are watching and you've never done one of Eric's live, any of them, they're all fabulous. They're so worth it.
It's only because I'm hosting, right?
Yeah, it's very it's a great way to really get a full broad spectrum of a medium, like, you know, not just what I do, but what all these, like he said, all these wonderful pastelists. There's so many different ways to approach pastels.
Well, what I think is interesting, you know, every year we have about a faculty of about 20, 25 people. And most of them, even though they've been painting very effectively for a long time, most of them stick around and watch every demo. And they tell me I learn something new every time, you know. And so,
that's absolutely, Eric's right. That would be me. That would be me.
You know, I've been doing this show now since COVID began. And every single show, I've learned something new. You would think it would all end up being the same, but it's not.
Nope, there's always more to learn. That's what's another wonderful thing about being an artist. You can't age out of it. You know, like dancers, and you know, there's a limit, but not with what we do. Not even close. I imagine I'll be sitting here going, and I just turning 80, and when I was 70.
Oh, well, then you'll be turning 90, then you'll be turning 100, then you'll be turning 110. Yeah, you're going to be fine. You know, technology is changing so much that I went to a conference and they said if you live 5 more years, you're likely to live 20 years longer than the typical lifespan. So things are changing. So it's not at all unusual to think that you could live to be 175 now, Susan. Just think how good you'll be by then, assuming your hand doesn't shake too much.
Well, I like the way that sounds.
You can help your son celebrate his 90th birthday.
Oh my God, Eric, you're getting off into some weird headspace here.
I'm pretty ornery today. I'm sorry.
So this whole part here is you know, it's got to be done right, because people that are patrons of this place, which there's many, will go, you know, they'll recognize it. There's certain subjects you can't kind of fudge. This is one of them. And there's some lines to straighten out. I can see already. There's some, you know, this is a little, you know, but that all gets done. It all gets fixed. You know, I'm taking this kind of iridescent blue purple and just doing my swipey thing right over this area, because I don't want to cover up what's there, but I want to enhance it, cool it down a little bit. Let's do some more fun stuff here. Let's get this.
Only fun stuff, please.
Really, I kept coming out here and sitting down and putzing with this, and finally I just had to go step away from the easel.
Yeah, really.
Or I would have been done and had nothing to show you all. And I also picked up these fluorescent pastels just because they just kind of jumped off the shelf into my hands. And I'm like, what am I going to do with these? But they're so delicious. And I have found uses for them. Like right here, you know, that they really do draw all the attention. So they're used very sparingly. Yeah, let's see what else. And I really love this highlight up here, that reflection in the window pane.
Well, that's where the projection room is up there.
Yep. Yeah, it really is. When you walk into this theater, it's just plastered with old movie posters. We're talking like old, like Casablanca and all that time. And they have Saturday mornings. Like I remember a while back, they did Saturday morning Alfred Hitchcock's, and they showed every one of his movies on Saturday mornings. It's really a fun place.
I got a place to send you when you're in New Zealand. I've got a friend that owns a movie theater. It looks very similar to this in, where is he? Auckland? You're going to be in Auckland? No, he's in
Yeah.
Wellington. And it's beautiful. You
I
would
haven't
like it.
exactly got my itinerary. I'm waiting for them to get back to me on where they're going to be sending me. And they actually asked me if I wanted a car. And I'm like, I don't know if I could drive on the wrong side of the road by myself. I just
Well,
sounds
you know,
really...
you should challenge yourself to do it. The worst thing that can happen is you'll get killed.
Oh my God, Eric. Seriously? Well, I
I
thought
challenge
maybe...
myself to drive in New Zealand,
How was
and
it?
it just takes your brain a little while to adjust because, by the way, not only is everything backwards, the stick shift is backwards, and the pedals are backwards. So your brake is where your accelerator is, and so on.
Wait, hold on. Wait, whoa. Don't they have automatics?
Oh, well, well, they're still the same, the accelerator and the brake, but
Oh, I don't
if
have to do gears.
you try to
All
do a
right.
manual transmission backwards as well. That's tough.
Well,
How
I thought...
big is this piece that you're doing? It looks like it's about a 9x12.
No, it's a little bigger. It's 11 by 14.
Okay. If you guys are having any aha moments watching this, make sure to put them in there so we can see what your aha moments are. Put them into the chat.
Yeah, this also fun to paint these parked cars.
I always have trouble making cars look right. I don't know why. What's the key to making cars look good?
I don't know yet. Let me tell you after I make it look good. It's everything's a shape. That's the point of this whole thing with the complex subject matter. And it doesn't happen overnight. Believe me, it does not happen overnight. It's been years of trying to analyze things as shapes. And once you get your eyes adjusted to that, it doesn't matter what the subject is. If it's a car, if it's a cat, if it's a whatever, it's all shapes. And if you stop thinking I can't do a face, or I can't do a car, or I can't whatever, stop yourself, because everything is a shape. That's the whole thing of drawing. It's shapes put together in the right order. I also, when I was younger, I always loved doing jigsaw puzzles. So it was in me always, I think, this weird little part of my brain that is able to break things down into shapes. I always hear myself going, like that movie, I See Dead People. I'm like, I see shapes.
Dennis is asking, do you ever use gouache as an underpainting?
I have gouache and I've tried them. It's a little opaque. I'd have to say it's doable. I mean, I've done acrylic underpainting, so that's pretty much kind of like the same. And I've also, God, I used to use, and I keep thinking to go back to them. I used to use fluid acrylics. They come in those little tubes that you get, like they look like a craft thing, and they're very intense colors. They're very liquefied. They're very thin, so you can't. Yeah, the thing, when you use any paint out of a tube, you want to make sure you're not putting it on as the underpainting too heavy, because you don't want to build up the texture of the paint. You want to leave the texture of the sanded paper. Does that make sense? Did I just say that right? Yeah.
Yep. Hello, Montreal. Montreal, you're only about an hour and a half from me. I'm in the Adirondacks.
Oh, sounds lovely.
It is lovely. It's actually starting to warm up again. It was down to about 55 degrees.
Next week, I'm going to be teaching in northern Wisconsin.
Nice.
At a place called Dillman's Art Retreat. And it's really like overnight art camp for grown-ups.
Nice. Well, that's what we do at Fall Color Week. We're
But
doing
we
Fall
even,
Color Week in northern Wisconsin up in Door County this
yeah,
year.
I'm in the other part. I'm in like 𝗦𝗂𝗶𝗺𝗺𝗃𝗧, which is like,
That's hard to say.
yeah, it's a really cool place. I've been teaching there for years. And you stay in cabins. It's so much like camp. We even have a night where they have a campfire and we make s'mores. That's how
Yeah, we
much
do that.
like it's like really a getaway. It's really a retreat.
It's fun. Fun, 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 fun.
Anybody have any other questions about certain areas that they'd like to see me address?
No, not yet, but keep them coming, everybody. Keep them coming.
So I want to make this a little bit less red. I have this kind of, what is it? Just like a kind of umber brownish color. And I'm doing that really light overlay. So you can still see the red. I don't want it to distract from this. So I have a little bit of red everywhere, but this is going to be the main center of
Okay,
attention.
so the questions are coming in now. Beth
Okay.
is asking, how do you approach the windows and playbill posts?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I started here. I just made some little shapes, kind of like abstract kind of. So I'm just looking at colors. I have it over. I'm holding this photo in my hand, and I also have it on my iPad next to me. But if I really want to see what's going on, I could zoom in on it. But I don't want to paint it zoomed in. I don't want it, again, all this stuff is supporting this. I don't want to let your eye get too busy. I want you to come back to this. So there's going to be more work up here too. So yeah, it's just sort of, like I said, I know I heard this, someone else said this, but I liked it. It's like the Cliff Notes. It's just enough information so you get the idea. Like
Well, it's
Cliff
a
Notes.
painting. You want to stimulate the mind. You don't want to have to put every detail in, let them
Right.
figure it out on their own.
So
Carl is asking, could you use alcohol markers, pens, to put the letters in on the thing up there where it's going to say celebrating 100 years?
Alcohol pens. That's a new one for me. Is that a real thing? I must find out about those.
I don't know.
I must find out about those because I really do not know about those.
Okay, well, I'm sure you have a big art store there in Portland.
We do. We have a big art store called Blick. We have other ones too, but yes, we could get just about anything we need here in this town, thankfully.
That's nice, yeah.
Not
where I am. Not where I
know.
am. I have to drive 50 miles to find almost nothing.
Wow. Did you get Amazon deliveries though, and will Blick deliver?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a big Blick delivery.
Then you're cool. Then you have it.
I'm a cool kid. Okay, somebody is asking, how do you store pastel paintings?
Well, let's see. Hold on 1 second here. I use two different ways. If I want to be able to look at them still, I use these cellophane bags. You can buy them in all different sizes. And that's a good way. It's a little bit of static, but not enough to notice. I mean, I ship paintings in this, so this is a really good way. And if I don't need to look at it and just want to store it up in my rafters up here, I'll use glassine over it.
Okay. Is that what's the difference between glassine and like parchment paper? Are they about the same thing?
As long as it's non-staticky, it should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think parchment paper would work, but I'm telling you, if you buy a roll of glassine, it should last you like forever because you can actually reuse it. You kind of wipe it down and then you could use it again because it does pick up a teeny tiny bit of
pastel dust,
but you can keep reusing it. So there's, we really don't have to keep buying it over and over. And the roll is not expensive. I don't remember what it costs, but it's very economical.
It's more expensive now than it was a year ago.
Well, what isn't?
Yeah.
let's see about this car. This car is way over here and I'm sitting way over here. So it's hard to do that without bumping into my camera. But
Hello, Norway.
Norway,
I
wow.
want to come and visit Norway.
I
Yeah,
would
that's
love
another
to.
place I need to do a trip.
Yeah, I would love to. All of Scandinavia, I would love to see.
Yeah. I went to Sweden a couple of years ago, and I went to the Zorn Museum and spent a couple of days there with my friend who runs it. We got to go into the archives and play with his shoes and his stuff. I got to hold his palette. It was pretty cool.
Wow. I just got back from Chicago, and at the Art Institute, those of you on this call, on this video thing, if you are in the Chicago area, you have got to go to the Art Institute and see the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 exhibit. It is amazing.
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 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
You will recognize, it's like no one knows his name, but when you look at his paintings, you go, oh, and for some reason, you know, he was at the same time as Degas and Monet and all those guys, his French Impressionist time. He just didn't get the name recognition like those guys did.
Huh.
I also was reading
Susan is
about him.
asking, do you work on previously mounted paper?
I'm not supposed to say a brand name, right?
Right.
When I mount my paper, I don't always mount it depending on the paper, but I use like a crescent mounting board. You just peel off the top and it sticks. It's super easy.
Nice.
But you know, you don't have to mount them.
Artistic Ren is asking, how do you get your pastel pencils so sharp?
Huh. That is this question of the always. I'm using this goofy thing.
Goofy.
I have tried every pencil sharpener ever recommended, ever. And they all work really great when you first get them. And then the blades get a little used up and they don't work as great. When that happens, I resort to the good old this. Yeah, the boring, it's the least glamorous part of what we do.
Don't cut yourself.
I'm not, I haven't done that yet.
All right.
Okay, that's what you do. You have to do that. And then you take this nice big old paddle, it's just like a big emery board, and you just do this. Sorry, folks, I don't have a better answer. No one has invented a foolproof pastel pencil sharpener yet. You put a man out in outer space, but they can't figure out how to sharpen pastel pencils. Go figure.
Go figure.
But that is a critical thing. Yes, it's important for certain areas that you have, especially when I'm doing portraits. I like to keep them razor sharp. And you know, my little analogy for that is just like you're like operating on someone. You don't want to use a dull knife, right?
Well, when I operate on people, I always use dull knife.
You are in rare form today, Eric.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because it increases the pain of recovery. You know, it's just, it's very, very torturous.
So this is going to be a fun thing to do too. This like kind of,
well, let's do it.
Bumpy roof. I don't know what it's called. It's called something.
Bumpy roof. Well, let's look at the original painting. Let's look. We'll pull that up. Okay, it's like a.
Here, I can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It would be like a. What do they call that? There's a word for it. People go in the chat. They can tell it.
Some kind of shingles, but they're not flat shingles. They're bumpy. I think the building next to it is also a really old building, the one I'm working on right now. So again, I like the glow, but the glow is going to hit the first few. We're just going to call them tiles. I know they're not, but
that's what it is. Tiles, roof
but they're
tile.
bumpy. How do you
They're
get
called
tiles?
barrel tiles.
Barrel tiles.
Barrel
Okay.
tile roof. There, see, you stimulated that thought.
So the ones that are closest to the sign will be, glowy, but the ones as they go away, they're going to be less
Well, you
sparkly.
don't want to lead the eye out of the painting, do you?
Right.
Terracotta
right.
tiles, that's what they are. Jim Beckley wins the award. Good job, Jim.
Terracotta tiles. Okay, I'm going to remember that now.
All right, so we're going to give you another 5, and then we're going to have to pull out the dull knife.
I use the pencils also, like I showed you that funny tool. Like I never would have bought this, but like I said, it just sort of found me. So the other thing I do for blending, I do use my fingers once in a while. I don't like to over blend things. So I tend to use my pastel pencils because it's enough to get a thin, very thin, like almost like a mist.
They're called crenellated tiles.
Crenellated? With a C?
Crenellated.
Crenellated.
Yeah. Thanks to the magic of our wonderful listeners and their comments.
Well, Eric, you know how I feel. This has been like, you're such an amazing person for having started all this during that crazy time in our history. Who would have ever thought, right?
You mean when we were in jail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It was quite
Never
remarkable.
again.
It still is quite remarkable.
Never again.
Never again. So the pencils are great for softening edges too, because this is all going to get nice and soft, and to just kind of blur it up a little bit. Again, very light-handed. I hope this addressed how I approach this. And, this started with those big shapes, and then going into those big shapes for the detail without. So my goal now is detailed but loose.
So as you work on this for the next however long you're going to work on it, what would be the things you would be working on, since we're not going to get a chance to see that?
I feel like I have basically what I want, and it's going to be like adding the sparkle more where it needs it. It's going to require a lot of. I have a chair way back in my other side of my studio that I call the thinking chair. And I got that name when I used to teach kids 3rd through 8th grade at my boys' old K-8 elementary. The biggest question that was always asked by the kids and the adults, too, is it done yet? Sort of like, am I there yet? And so I came up with this thing. I would take the kids' drawing. They were working in either charcoal or acrylics. And I would set it up on the counter, on the ledge by the windows. And then I took 2 chairs and went back, 10 feet or whatever, 8 feet across the room, 5 feet. I don't know. I'm bad with that. But, and we would sit there and I would say to the kids, what do you like about this? And then they would tell me, and I go, is there any parts that you're not happy with? And they'd say either yes or no. And if they said no, then I'm like, I think you're done. And then, so we ended up calling it the thinking chair. And the really coolest thing would happen, because there was also a rule in class with the kids, as with adults, don't interrupt me when I'm helping somebody else, because you don't want to be interrupted when you're being helped, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened, which was remarkable to me, is the kids would go in the thinking chair with their friend, 2 of them, and they would discuss it amongst each other. And that was like amazing that they got to see and experience, that part of it. Because there's a lot of time spent at this point in this painting. There's going to be a lot of time in the thinking chair, because I don't want to put more information than I need. So what I'm saying is that I will do a little bit and I'll step back, even like leave the room. Sometimes I even take a photograph and go in the house. My studio is behind my house. I will actually go away into another room and I will look at it on my phone, or I would bring the painting in the house, just like get a different vantage point is what I'm trying to say. And so that's what I'll be doing the rest of today, is a little bit stepping back, a little bit stepping back. I mean, it all needs a little bit. It doesn't need a whole lot. And then if I have the frame available, I ordered a frame for this already, but if I had the frame, I even like kind of stick it in the frame and look at it, how it looks framed, because, the frame's going to cut off a little bit. So I want to make sure I didn't like make anything a tangent or looking weird or, whatever. So, yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you come back on camera so everybody can see your happy birthday face?
Okay, hang on. Let me do that. My dirty fingers. Front camera. All right. Hi.
All right. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And that's on Monday, September 1st. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Outstanding. Well, you look wonderful. You're marvelous. You're a great teacher. You have a lot to be thankful for.
Thank you, Eric. I do want to connect about New Zealand.
Okay, we'll do that. And
I
make
hope
sure you
everybody
guys
enjoyed this. I hope everyone got something out of it,
They did. I was watching the comments. You go back in there, and then when you get a chance on your personal pages, you post it. We put all the information about your personal pages so they can find you there. And of course, they can find your workshops and things like that. If I were you, I'd go to New
watch
Zealand.
me in Pastel Live. That's coming up, pretty quick.
Oh yeah, Pastel Live. That's right. We're going to see you there. It's only about 2-3 weeks away.
The nice thing about that is I just don't have to even put my makeup on. I just have to sit at my computer and chat because it's already recorded.
Yeah, well, I don't have to put my makeup on either. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Eric, and everybody watching. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. So I want to tell you guys, remind you that Pastel Live, Susan will be teaching twice. Pastel Live is really a way, if you want to go deep and learn all about pastel, just come to pastellive.com. It's September 17th through 19th. It's one of our more popular events, and everybody's doing pastel now. So you got to get into it. Got to do it. It's a lot of fun. If you have not subscribed yet to this program, go to YouTube, look up Art School Live, hit the subscribe button. That'd be really terrific. We have a free gift for you today. What is our free gift? Well, let's see what it is. We have it's 45 pastel pointers from the pros, free ebook. Just go to pasteltoday.com/ebook. And while you're there, subscribe to Pastel Today, our newsletter. You will not regret it. Thank you for being here today. Thanks again to Susan. And keep your head in the game, guys. You just got to stay focused. Remember, you can do this. If you watch any 5 of our programs, there's a couple thousand for you to look at. You watch any 5 that are teaching art, you are going to learn to become an artist. You're going to get the confidence you need to become an artist. Don't tell yourself you can't do it. Everybody thinks they can't do it. They think you have to be born with talent. That's a big fat lie. You just have to apply yourself and learn it. Brain surgeons aren't born with talent. They have to learn it. Well, you just have to learn it. This is easier than brain surgery, I guarantee it. And I've never done brain surgery, even with a dull knife. So thanks for being here again today. And thanks to Susan. You guys have a really terrific day. Bye-bye.